Ben Yishai, איך הולך?
Good afternoon. Shalom Aleichem.
How's life in Israel? What's Chag going to look like for you?
Chag will be very interesting. We aren't allowed to be so many people in the synagogue, so a lot of the minyanim will be outside, or half in the synagogue, half outside, and the service will be very, very short. All of the nigunim inside, or not the nigunim, all of the things that you don't actually have to say, we won't say it this time.
So are you going to be a Chazan Bichlal this year, or it's a waste of time?
Yes. I'll be the Chazan. Actually, I like it once the time to do it a bit shorter.
Yeah.
It could be interesting. Because of the pandemic, this is what we need to do nowadays to avoid what's happening now, and there's also to help to cure the situation. But it's interesting. It will be very interesting, and I hope it will. When we think when we are happy, we have a minyan. We're happy we have the opportunity. At least
you have no idea how lucky you are, how incredibly privileged you are. And for a long time, I've dreamt of doing a shiur like we're going to do together this evening. I've always wanted to do a shiur about Perek Chaf Zayin of Tehillim, Le David Hashem Ori, together with the tunes which characterize the different meanings of this incredibly rich Perek. I was just thinking before, though, you daven a Nusach Teman, correct?
No, I daven for my Sidur Nusach Teman, but as a Chazan, I Nusach Ashkenazi.
Okay, so do you say Le David at this time of year or every day?
People who wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning say it's a perek we say before we start the slichot.
Okay.
Actually, 3 o'clock in the morning. So
because
that's when
they say it every day, don't they?
That's Faradim who say it every day in the end of the tefillah.
Okay.
And but all of the Ashkenazim will say it this month until Shana Rabbi. You'll say it, right?
Correct. Until Shmini Atzeret.
Atzeret.
Yeah. All right. Okay, so you understand why we're talking about this perek at this time of year. It just came to me before that maybe you wouldn't know, but I've always dreamt of doing it this way, and there's no one better than you, I believe, to do this with. Not only because of your beautiful voice, and not only because your name is Ben Yishai, which is like David Ben Yishai, the author of this perek, but also because when I say Le David, there are certain parts of Le David which I hear in your voice. I hear them in your voice because these are the songs which your family sings on the CDs which you have released, and I hear the tunes in your voice. And it's not just that the tunes I hear in your voice, but I identify some of the themes of this really rich perek together with you as a person, which we'll be able to discuss as we go through. But before we even look at Le David, let's maybe get into the atmosphere of this time of year. Is there any particular song which is giving you chizuk at the moment as we go through the challenges at the moment? Anything which is, what's going on at the back of your mind? Which tune is playing now at this time of year?
So as a Mohel, I also try to give this atmosphere of the time. So the tune I sing now is Ochil Alayl. I think that's the last I think maybe 10 years. It became like a big thing here in Israel. Most of the synagogues we sing it, and I think it could give you the avira, the atmosphere. Ochil alael, achale panav, alael yesh ala mimeinu, mane lashon, ochil alael, achale panav, alalayla yesh ala mimeinu, mane lashon, asher bikalam, avishi auzo, Abia enanot, be'adifarav me'adam, ma'chelev u'me'ashem, ma'ne lashon, Hashem, שפתי תפתח, ופי יגיד, תהילתך. Join me, tila da 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 da, tila da 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 da, tila da 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 da, ya da 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 da, Yidilai Hashem, שפתי תפתח, ופי יגיד, תהילתך.
Ben Yishai, you've passed the test. So now we can look at Perek Chaf Zayin together, and I'm excited for the assistance which you're going to give me as we go through the Perek, because this is really an amazing Perek. And if we look at just the first few psukim of this Perek on our screens together, if we have to imagine to ourselves what kind of mood is David HaMelech in when he is writing these first few psukim, I think there'll be a clear answer. The Perek commences LeDavid, a psalm of David. Hashem ori v'ishi mimi ira. Hashem is my light, my salvation. Who am I going to be scared of? Hashem ma'oz chayai. Hashem is a stronghold of my life. Mimi evchad. Who am I scared of? Bikrov alai merayim lechol et b'sarai. When evildoers come upon me to eat my flesh. Tzarai v'oyevai li. My adversaries and my enemies. Heima chashlu v'nafalu. They're going to stumble and fall down. Im tachaneh alai machaneh lo yira libi. If a host shall encamp against me, my heart won't fear. Im takum alai milchamai. If there's a war against me, bezot ani voteach. I am confident in this. Here in these opening psukim, we have David HaMelech being fully confident, saying, whatever happens, whatever you throw at me, bezot ani boteach, I am confident. You know, Ben Yishai, this reminds me of a story about you, which you may not remember. It was a number of years ago in London. You were staying with us in our home, and we were living in Finchley at the time. And we were walking home on a Friday night from shul. Do you have any idea what story I'm going to tell?
Go on.
No, it's good, because sometimes you can have a big impact on people without even knowing it and without even remembering. So we're walking home from shul, and I must have been a young teenager at the time. And we were going past a pub called the Queen's Head Pub, which was on the corner of East End Road and Regent's Park Road. And to get home, we'd have to walk past this pub. And, you know, there were people drinking outside, getting drunk on a Friday night. So we'd always move very quietly and sheepishly in order to get past the crowd there. So being a good balabait, I said to you, big, tall Ben Yishai, I said, you know, we're going past this pub and there are some rough people there. So we're just going to go past quietly. Now, let me ask you now, do you remember what happened next?
I guess I started to sing something.
Yes, exactly. So you said to me, you turned to me and you said, Danny, are you scared of these people? I'm like, yeah, you know, we just have to get home quietly. He goes, you're scared of these people? You then went, as we crossed the road, into the middle of this big crowd of people outside the pub on a Friday night, dressed in your white Shabbat clothes, and you started singing Shabbat songs and dancing at the top of your voice in the middle of this crowd going all around. We were absolutely mortified. We walked ahead as if we had no idea who this guy is, singing these songs in his white cloak. But that's like the amazing confidence which you have. And that's the confidence of David HaMelech at the beginning of this Perek, the other Ben Yishai. Whatever happens, I'm not scared. I'm going to do what I'm going to do, and I'm going to be proud. And there are tunes connected to LeDavid or from LeDavid which express this confidence. Do you know any such tunes of LeDavid with there's certainly Achat Sha'alti in Pasuk Dalid, which is at the beginning of the next section, where there's a really happy tune.
למען אחת שאלתי מאת אשר
Yeah.
אותה אבקש. שבתי בבית אשר כל ימי חיי There's the Achat Shalti Met Hashem.
So you've just done a big change there.
Yeah,
you've gone from Shifty 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 Woo, which is the song that my children sing in the morning when they do the David in school on their screens, to a completely different mood.
Completely different mood. You could it depends how you if you take this psukim for the beginning of the parak or the end of the parak, if you could decide what mood you want to do it.
Correct. So maybe we'll just look at Achat Sha'alti before we look at the different tunes for Achat Sha'alti. Because I'd say that the next 3 psukim are the next unit of this parak. Because David HaMelech says, Achat Sha'alti me'et Hashem ota avakesh. There's only one thing I ask of Hashem. This is what I seek. So David HaMelech says, I'm going to ask for one thing. Now, he gives a whole shopping list. Shivti b'veit Hashem kol yemei chayai. I want to live in the house of Hashem all the days of my life. Lachazot b'noam Hashem, to behold the graciousness of Hashem. Ulevaker b'heichalo, and to contemplate or visit in his sanctuary. Kitzbereni b'sukkah b'yom ra'ah. He should cover me in his sukkah on a bad day. Yastireni b'seiter alo. He should conceal me in his tent. B'tzur yerom ameni. Lift me up on a rock. V'atayarum roshi alo v'ais vivotai. And now he should lift up my head on my enemies all around me. V'ezbecha v'alo zivchei truah. And I will offer up in his tent sacrifices of joy. Ashira v'azamra laHashem. I will sing and I'll sing songs of praise to Hashem. Now, how can David HaMelech say, Achat Sha'alti? I'm asking for only one thing. And then give this long list of things that he's asking for. You know, we were sitting in our kitchen in Alon Shvut. And Althea was in the kitchen. I was sitting in our dining room in Alon Shvut. And Althea called out to me and she says, Danny, can you do me just one favor, please? And I said, Althea, you are just like David HaMelech. You say, can you help me with just one thing? And then you give me this long list of things that you want my help with. And Althea responded, yeah, but the problem of your mashal is that you're comparing yourself to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. But either way, how can David HaMelech say Achat Sha'alti?
Isn't it the same thing?
Explain.
He wants the contact with Hashem. זה מה שהוא רוצה. He's looking to be close to Hashem. And every time, when it's bad, when it's good, when Hashem is shining, and when Tamid, all of the time, 24 hours, all of the day, all of life, he wants to be close to Hashem.
Yeah, fair. So the way we could read this is, he only really wants one thing, which is the closeness of Hashem. And I think you're saying he's expressing it during different experiences, but whatever happens, he always wants to be close to Hashem. There's another way we can explain this, though, that really he's describing the same thing in many ways. And he says, Shifti b'veit Hashem kol yamei chayai. I want to sit in the house of Hashem. And the house of Hashem can have numerous names. We can call it Beit Hashem, the house of Hashem. We can call it his heichal, his sanctuary. We can call it a sukkah. We can call it an ohel, a tent. We can call it a tzur, a rock. And I think it reflects the different roles that a Beit Hashem plays for individuals.
Also a tent.
Sorry?
Also a tent, Be'alo.
Correct, but the Beit Knesset or the Beit Hashem can play the role of an ohel. So it's a Beit Hashem, it's a bayit, it's a place where we feel at home. It's a heichal, it's a place of sanctuary, of kedusha. It's a place, a sukkah, it's somewhere where you can take shelter. Like an ohel, which is temporary or can be moved around, it's something that you bring with you into your life. It's a tzur, it's a tall rock for inspiration. The Beit Hashem represents so much for us.
Yes,
and so now in Melbourne, when we're going to say Shivti b'Beit Hashem, we're missing all of these things over these Yamim Noraim, which I think is the appropriate consideration when, if you sing the song of Achat Sha'alti, not the Pirchei Toronto one, not the Shivti Wu, but the other one, I think we can feel the emotion of the Beit Hashem, that our longing of Shivti b'Beit Hashem. You will have the zchut to do that this year, but we unfortunately will not.
Reb Shlomo has a nice tune for that.
B'chavod.
Achat Shalti met Hashem. Oh, שבתי בבית השם כל ימי חיי. אוי שבתי בבית השם כל ימי חיי. שבתי בבית השם אוי כל ימי חיי. אוי שבתי בבית השם כל ימי חיי. You know, Danny, I heard now from just heard a brief thought from someone said by Rabbi Yosef. He says he's asking for shifti to sit in Bet Hashem, but then he says also levaker, to visit Behechalo. But if you are sitting in the house of Hashem, why do you need to visit? What's the thing? And what Rabbi Vadia said is, I want to sit with Bet Hashem. I want to be always connected to the spirituality, but I want to feel like a visitor, like a person who is excited every time, every chance he has to be and to be there as a tourist, as like someone comes to the Kotel. And he's so into it, and there's another people just live in the content, go every day, and David wants to have this attraction, to be very to feel as like very emotional, although he's sitting in Bet Hashem for all of his life.
Yeah, fair. So you're saying Shifti B'Beit Hashem, that we're able to maintain that constant presence, but at the same time to feel that novelty and the special experience, levaker b'heichalo, like a visitor. You know, there are different views about how to explain the word levaker, because some people say it comes from like to contemplate, like a luach bakara. Some people say it comes from boker, to visit early. And I think in the Da'at Mikra it says explicitly levaker does not mean to visit. Okay, they want us not to think that. But I spoke to Professor Meron Chet Isaacson. Do you know Meron? From Beit Knesset in Herzliya.
Oh, lovely person, yes.
Wonderful man. So we can trust him when it comes to the Hebrew language. And he told me levaker to visit is absolutely fine, even in this parak.
But there is also there are a few parshanim who says levaker like bikoret. Okay, how would you translate bikoret?
Well, it's criticism.
Criticism. So I would learn how to levaker, how to get criticism from the Yishai, from the Kohanim and the Leviim. They will teach me how to understand things, how to judge through what I will learn from them.
Yes, you know, for me, when my sense of longing for Beit Hashem, it's a different tune of Achat Sha'alti. We've had two, but if I could trouble you for a third one, please. Do you know the one of Shivti b'Beit Hashem
Kol yemei chayai lachazot b'noam Hashem ulevaker b'chalo. Try to join me. Achat shalti met Hashem kotavakesh elai shivti beveit Hashem elai kol yemei chayai elai lachazot b'noam Hashem ulevaker b'chalo.
Yeah, fair. So far we've seen two Keta'im. I mean, I've broken it up this way, but two different parts of the David. We've commenced with the super confident David HaMelech, and we've moved across to the more thoughtful, asking for things, perhaps not so sure. But when we continue in the parak, it is almost as if this is a completely different parak of Tehillim. And now David HaMelech, it almost appears like a meltdown here. And he just breaks down. And he says, Shema Hashem, hear Hashem, Koli cry, call with my voice, V'choneni v'aneni, be gracious unto me, answer me. Lecha amar libi bakshu fanai et panecha Hashem avakesh. He's saying on Hashem's behalf, seek my face, but he's saying, Hashem, I'm looking for you. Al taster panecha mimeni. Don't hide your face from me. Al tatba'at avdecha. Don't repel your servant in anger. Ezrati hayita. You've been my help. Al titsheni. Don't forsake me. V'al tazveni Elokei Yishi. Don't forsake me, O God of my salvation. David HaMelech has gone from being super confident, Lo yira libi b'zot ani boteach, to now saying, Hashem, don't forsake me, don't abandon me. Ki avi ve'immi azavuni. My parents have forsaken me. Hashem yasveini. Hashem will take me in. Well, soon we're going to ask what happened to David HaMelech here. But for me, the tune for these words I always hear in your voice. And you and your family have a special connection with these words from Shema Hashem until Elokei Yishi. Please, before you sing the song, so that everybody can understand the song on the level that I think I understand it, please share the meaning of these words for you.
Okay, unfortunately, nearly 18 years ago, my brother Gabriel was murdered in the Yeshivat Otniel. And in his yeshiva, he was a very special person. He was so talented, and we feel that Am Yisrael is missing a very special person, and he had a dream to be a prophet, and he loved learning, and his yeshiva, after he and his three friends, 4 of them were killed in a terror attack. In Yeshivat Otniel they sing a lot, and they came and comfort that, and for the funeral and the Shiva we sang a lot. And one of the nigunim was this nigun here, that Shema Hashem, that Ezra Gateno wrote the music. And in Yeshivat Otniel I just sing it through all Chodesh Elul and Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur, and it's like when all of the Yeshiva sings together, it's very special, and it gave us a lot of koach, a lot of strength. Shema Hashem koli ekra v'choneini v'aneini. Shema Hashem koli ekra v'choneini v'aneini. Lecha amar libi bakshu fanai et panecha Hashem avakesh. Lecha amar libi bakshu fanai et panecha Hashem avakesh. Al taster panecha mimeni. Al tat be'af avdecha. Ezati hayita. Al titsheni ve'al tazveni Elohei Yishi. Al taster panecha mimeni. Al tat be'af avdecha. Ezati hayita. Al titsheni ve'al tazveni Elohei Yishi.
So I think we can say that the emotion and meaning in these words, especially when they are sung by you, is so far away from where we started. From the shivti woo to where we are now. And, you know, there are other differences between the first half of this perek and the second half of the perek. In the first half of the perek, Hashem is spoken about in the third person. In the second half of the parak, David HaMelech turns directly to Hashem, b'guf sheni, in the second person. And there were some people who even wanted to claim that these are actually two separate pieces of text which were artificially sewn together. But it's a difficult claim to make, because if I just scroll down for a moment here, if we look at, I've just colored this in here to make it easy to see, there's a lot of parallel between the first half of the parak and the second half of the parak. In the first half of the parak in yellow, we have Hashem Ori Vishi. Hashem is my light and my salvation. And in the second half of the parak, we talk about in Hebrew, Elokei Yishi, we have salvation again. In the first half of the parak, in blue, David refers to Tsarai, Va'oi, Va'ili, my oppressors and my adversaries. In the second half of the parak again, Al Tidneni Benefesh Tsarai. It's the same word again which appears in the second half of the parak. In the first half of the parak, Im Takum Alai Milchama, David talks about a war coming up against him. In the second part of the parak, Kikamu bi, it's Im Takum Kikamu bi, it's the same expression. Just a couple more examples, I think you've got the point. In the first half of the parak, Ota Avakesh, this is what I'm asking for from Hashem. In the second half, Et Panecha Hashem Avakesh, it's that word Avakesh again. In the first half, Yastireni Beseita Oalo, Hashem should conceal me in the concealment of his tent. In the second half, Al Taster, don't hide, don't conceal. It's the very same terminology in the first half of the parak and the second half of the parak. So it's very difficult to claim that these are two separate pieces of literature which were artificially sewn together. We're going to have to come up with a different explanation. So, Ben Yishai, when you read through this parak, how can we reconcile the first half and the second half?
So aspects, times in our lives. So sometimes we feel close and we are close, and sometimes we are far and we are in hyster. It's like when I'm hiding with Hashem, it's awesome. Yeah, I want to be with you together. I'm hiding with you. But when Hashem is hiding from me, that's a hard time. It's a hastara. And sometimes in life we have a hastara. And sometimes as a nation we have a hastara. And sometimes as a world we have a hastara. And we have this hard times. And it's...
I like the image when you said when we're hiding with Hashem. It gives me that feeling of a child underneath the parent's talit or inside the mother's coat. It's hiding with Hashem. Yeah. It's that security of hiding inside Hashem.
Yastireni beseter oalo. That's what I get. It's child is hiding together with us.
Which is very different from the Al Taster. So you're suggesting that David HaMelech is describing different experiences that a person can have. I think this is very much the direction that Rav Amnon Bazak takes. He says that there are... Sorry?
No, go on.
No, b'chavod.
No, it's interesting. Why did he start with the happy things, with the positive? Why didn't he start with the negative and then?
Nachon, it is unusual. You'd expect that maybe the parak would have been the other way around. It would start off with David HaMelech is in trouble, section 1. Section 2, Achat Sha'alti Ve'et Hashem, David HaMelech asks for help. Section 3, Hashem Ori Vishi, and they all lived happily ever after. But the parak is almost written in the complete opposite way that you'd expect. It starts off happy, then questioning, then absolute meltdown. I haven't yet mentioned the final pasuk, which is but you make an excellent point that it's almost the reverse of the narrative you would expect from a parak. And Rav Amnon Bazak explains, like you explained before, that the parak describes within it different things that a person might experience in their life. And perhaps David HaMelech is expressing different things that he might experience at different times. There are those who try to connect these events to different connect these moods to different events in the life of David HaMelech. There's an opinion that the first half was written prior to his sin, if that's the correct word, and the second half is written post-sin, if that is the correct word, if you're allowed to say that. That there were times when he was more confident, but then it's not that he lacked confidence in Hashem, but he lacked self-confidence. He himself didn't know if he was still deserving of Hashem's protection. And also there's a question of when did he write this? He's alone. He's running away. He feels abandoned. So is this when he's running away from Shaul HaMelech? Which is potentially an answer, but there's no Beit Hashem at that time. So which Beit Hashem is he talking about? If it's when he's running away from Avshalom, then maybe we can understand it in a different way. You were a tour guide in Israel. You would dress up as David HaMelech and you would tell these stories. If you were dressing up as David HaMelech, do you have a sense for when he would have written this?
Oh, it's interesting because if you just imagine yourself standing on Nahal Kidron and seeing David HaMelech together with Aaron Abrit, and he's running away from Avshalom. He knows that Avshalom is coming from Hebron to get him, and they brought the ark together. Okay, Ohel Moed. They left the heart of Ohel Moed, and now the Ohel Moed is coming with David HaMelech to the Galut. And David HaMelech says, no, כאילו, לא צריך, אין צורך. We bring the Ohel Moed back to where it should be in Ohel Moed. Bring the Aaron to the Ohel, and if Hashem would want, I will come back. And then he goes up on Mount Olive Mountain, and then there is like a pasuk where he's bowing towards Aaron Abrit, towards Hashem, and something happens, and it just becomes a commander again. He just has again this koach. He says, we have this person and Achitophel, and you must say against what he's going to say, and he suddenly has this koach to go now to the desert, but he's going to fight because Hashem is with him together. So I don't know I need to ask David HaMelech. I really don't know. It could be both things, both actors, but it's like in life. There are times when we are we are low, and times when we are high, and it's still relevant from David HaMelech, but it's really relevant in our times.
I think it really is a very relevant perek, because we all experience moments of confidence and moments of questioning and moments where you feel just overwhelmed and forsaken and abandoned, and hopefully you feel much more of the first half of the perek than the second half of the perek. But this is why I think this is such a great perek for us to read at this time of year, the time of the Yamim Noraim. There's the great joy of Rosh Hashanah and some of the happy and exciting nigunim of Rosh Hashanah. And then there's the scarier side of the Yamim Noraim as well. And the lack of self-confidence or the uncertainty that somebody might feel at this time of year as well. You know, officially the reason why we say this perek at this time of year, because it says Hashem Ori, the Midrash says, when is Hashem my light? On Rosh Hashanah. The Yishai is my salvation on Yom Kippur. Later on, we have a Ki Yitzpeneni B'Sukkah on Sukkot. The Zohar says that Shem Hashem appears 13 times in this perek, which is a very special number, connects us to Yud Gimel Midot HaRachamim. Some people say down here, we've got another word game. In the penultimate pasuk, Lulei He'emanti. Lulei backwards is Elul. So it's a good perek to say in Elul. But in addition to all of these answers, I think that the themes of the perek are the themes of this time of year. It's the anthem of Elul and the Yamim Noraim, and not just Elul and the Yamim Noraim, but what we're experiencing in the world at the moment. There are people who are super confident, there are people who are questioning, and there are people where it's complete meltdown and breakdown, and it's all happening, and it's all okay. And it's okay to feel like the first half of Le David, and it's okay to feel like the second half of Le David as well. But we haven't finished the perek, because the final pasuk, I think, really, really brings it all together. And the final pasuk of the perek is Kaveh el Hashem, hope to Hashem, Chazak v'ya'amet libecha, be strong, let your heart take courage, V'kaveh el Hashem, and hope to Hashem. You know, I was recently in a meeting with a number of government officials trying to plan what could we possibly do for Yamim Noraim this year. And the lady who was speaking there on behalf of our DHHS, the Department of Health, said, this is our message to you. Our message is hope and hold on. Hope, because things are going well, and hold on, because we're not yet ready to open up. You need to be hopeful, but also to hold on. It's a combination of the feelings. Now, people have different views as to the success of our government at the moment. But when she says to me that my message is hope and hold on, it's almost David HaMelech's message. Because David HaMelech's message was hope and hold on and hope. Kaver Hashem, chazak v'yametz libecha, v'kaver el Hashem. And I think it's significant that kaver Hashem is repeated here. So there are those who say, kaver Hashem, why is it said twice? So we have two halves of this parak. There's the confident and happy half, and there's the more challenging half. And whether it's the first half of the parak, kaver Hashem, or whether we're experiencing the second half of the parak, kaver Hashem, whatever happens, we have to have hope in Hashem. Or we could say that it's just a pep talk, or it's just to really nail home the point at the end of the parak. But I think there's a nice parallel, because there is one other pasuk which starts and ends with the same three words. And that pasuk, we don't really notice it because of the way we say it in tefillah, but that pasuk is Ani Hashem Elokechem, Asher Tzeitim Etzchem, Ani Hashem Elokechem. Because we add on the emet at the end, we don't really notice it. But it's almost like there's a dialogue here that Hashem reassures us. And he tells us in his pasuk, Ani Hashem Elokechem, Ani Hashem Elokechem. And in our side of the conversation, we're saying, Kaver el Hashem, Kaver el Hashem. And Ben Yishai, do you know in whose voice I hear the words Kaver el Hashem?
But you know, before you hear the voice, it's interesting. When you write Basad, Be'ezrat Hashem, as my father is Yemenite, so as Yemenites we write Laki, as a short Li'ishuatcha Kiviti Hashem. Okay, Laki. That's the thing. And lekavot leHashem, to hope, there is a word kivui, lekavot, like to hope, but kav, it's like a spiritual thing. You need to be in the
aligned.
But it's aligned, but it's to get contact, but it's lekavot, it's like standing on a tefillah, where you have the kivui, when you are in a spiritual way, you are calling Hashem. That's the kivui. You are calling Him. You are speaking to Him. Your neshama is going forward, and this is the kivui. This is the tachlit. We don't know when the Geulah will be, but we have chovah to lekavot Hashem. So lekavot is not saying be'ezrat Hashem. No, lekavot is to have this spiritual work of kivui LaHashem, like a kav, directly from down to up.
Wow. So now I understand something which I didn't understand, which is that when your brother Sefi made a video for this song, for these words, I didn't understand what you were doing there with a rope in the song. Maybe we'll be able to show a short clip of that song. We can organize to show a short clip of it, so you know what we're talking about. So the image of the rope is the one of having that line with Hashem, that kav. Was that the intention?
Like a rope, you need to go up. Okay, to always to go up the rope, and every generation he needs to go up the rope. So we have David HaMelech there. We have like a soldier who's going up the rope, and we have a business guy who's also going. Everyone has lekavot el Hashem, and they're all going up like to the stage, up on the like biggest mountain we found in the area of Carmiel. And suddenly there's another rope. You need to go up again. Things don't stop, never stop. So now the first person who went on this kav was this businessman who a simple person, but everyone is after him. All of our generations are on top of us, and we are the last one, but we have all of the weight.
Yeah, well, now that you've explained it, I think we're going to treat our audience now. We're not going to show the whole video, but let's just put up now just a small clip from YouTube of rock climbing with your brother and yourself and the different actors there acting out and singing these words, the hopeful end to this parak. And before you treat our neshamot to help us with our spare time, with maybe a song or two to get us into the atmosphere of Rosh Hashanah, I just want to share one more thing about this parak. You know, Rabbi Natan of Breslov explains that the Tkiyat Shofar tells the story of tshuva. We start off with a Tkiyah at the beginning, the unbroken note. We start off in a place of confidence, nothing's gone wrong. We finish off with a Tkiyah, and in the middle you have the Truah, different opinions of Truah, Shvarim, Truah, but there's the breakdown in the middle, and the story of the Tkiyat Shofar is the story of tshuva, that somebody starts off in a great place, there's a breakdown, but they return to a great place afterwards as well. And I think maybe we could say that the four parts of this parak can be called Tkiyah, Shvarim, Truah, Tkiyah. Our parak commences with a Tkiyah, with David HaMelech's great confidence. Shvarim, it starts breaking apart. Achat Sha'alti, he starts asking questions. There's the Truah, there's the complete breakdown in Psukim Zayin to Yud Gimel. But he finishes off with a Tkiyah. He finishes off with that confidence of Kaver Hashem, Chazak v'yametz libecha v'kaver Hashem. He returns to where he started, although perhaps the Tkiyah is a more mature Tkiyah, because it is a Kaver Hashem which includes the Chazak v'yametz libecha. He's been strengthened by the experience of that which he's been through in the Perek to reach this level of emunah, to have that emunah in Hashem, like you said, no matter what happens in our lives. So, Ben Yishai, please, just to help our neshamot. You know, we can be in Beit Hashem. It's just that every single one of our homes now needs to become a Beit Hashem. So help us bring Hashem into our homes, maybe a nigun or two from the Tefillot of Yamim Noraim to conclude.
אתה בחרתנו מכל העמים, אהבת אותנו ורצית בנו ורוממתנו מכל הלשונות. אהבת אותנו ורצית בנו ורוממתנו מכל הלשונות. וקדשתנו במצוותיך, במצוותיך. וקרבתנו מלכנו לעבודתך, בשמך הגדול, הגדול והקדוש, עלינו קראת. בשמך הגדול, הגדול והקדוש, עלינו קראת. והביא אותי מהקודשי, היי ושימחתי בבית תפילתי, והביא אותי מהקודשי, היי ושימחתי בבית תפילתי, עולותיהם וזבחיהם הם לרצון על מזבחי כי ביתי בית תפילה יקרא לכל העמים והביא אותי הקודשי אלי ושימחתי בבית תפילתי אלי ושימחתי בבית תפילתי עולותיהם וזבחיהם לרצון על מזבחי עולותיהם וזבחיהם לרצון על מזבחי כי ביתי בית תפילה יקרא לכל העמים עלי כי ביתי בית תפילה יקרא לכל העמים Shana Tova.
Thank you, Ben Yishai. You can't hear that the whole of Melbourne is clapping. You have a standing ovation here in Australia, and always great spending time with you. Thank you very much. That was really, really beautiful. Bezrat Hashem, I'll see you soon, whether here or there. And you know, everybody, Ben Yishai is available for a Brit Milah near you. If you want a special Brit that you'll never forget, Ben Yishai is our family's official Mohel. You are the Mohel for our son Rabbi. And how many of my nephews in London? Have you done 2 for Hillel and Melanie? 1?
3.
Wow. So you've done 4 Mirvis babies?
Yes, 4.
Wow.
Also for Eitan now.
Oh, you also did it for Eitan. Wow, yeah, fair. Okay, so you've done 4 Mirvis grandchildren babies. You're also the official Mohel of the Nosban family, the Nosban grandchildren. So Ben Yishai is available for a very special Brit Milah, or for a Tefillah, or for anything you need. Ben Yishai, Shana Tova, best wishes to Adina, to your parents, to your children, and to all the family.